who came to see me who I'd known for 15 and 20 years, best of friends. I realized then that they weren't friends. It was political friendship. It was what they could get. And I didn't realize it until then. There was one person who was like a brother to me, and he never came to see me. And afterwards, when I was home, he said, well, I hated to see you in that condition. And then he started making jokes about me being blind, and being a cripple, and all these things. He thought it was being very funny. And I used to give him lifts all over the time. Well, now I can walk again, now I can talk again, I can drive. When I'm able to drive, I'll pick him up and we'll go someplace. Very nice of him. That was the second to the last time I ever saw him. And I realized as he's talking, what kind of friend he really was.
Just by seeing him, he didn't say anything
He
bad
didn't
to
say
you.
anything
You just were able to sense it.
Right, totally, for
Wow.
the first time. So
that was, you were in a very interesting state because
yeah,
you were in
interesting state. Yes.
because to be that aware. Are you aware now like
I
this?
knew at that time. I knew because you were only allowed a max amount of people in your room. I knew almost to the face who was waiting for me outside. I could sense who was outside.
So you were in
I
it.
never knew what to do with that, but I knew they were outside.
Wow. Do you have any of that ability now, or did that seem to go away?
Most of it's gone, but I have certain abilities now that I'm able to sense certain things off of people. I don't believe it myself, but I've tested it so many times that I'm pretty accurate in these things. There are some people who fool me very badly still, but 90% of people I have this sense. The woman that I'm married to, I'm married a second time now. Almost from the time I met her, I had this sense that we had this very strong connection, and she sensed it too on her end, and we never understood where this was coming from. And we wound up starting off being casual friends, then very good friends, then very, very good friends, then friends that would do anything for another, one for the other, and we wound up getting married a little bit over 6 months ago. So that's pretty cool.
That's
She's
obviously a
wonderful
relationship that's much more than the average relationship.
Yes.
I mean, I know that first by seeing it, but obviously
she's a very sweet woman, a very good woman, a very intelligent woman. She's beautiful in
soul.
She's beautiful in soul and in body. Her name is Cindy, and I can't thank her enough for being my friend and for becoming my wife, and hopefully giving me children and growing old together with me. She's been as supportive as one person could be for another person. I can never thank her enough, and I can never show her enough gratitude.
I mean, there's a lot of lessons to be learned over here. Obviously, first of all, don't be false to people, because sooner or later...
Because at one point, they know.
Yes, especially in this place.
Especially in the when right. Another thing is, I was taught afterwards that everything you do in this world is really written down, and you never know what's going to come back to you. In other words, imagine my uncle couldn't find peace. He needed my father's forgiveness. He needed to reconcile this episode. Now, this happened in 1983. My uncle died in 1945. In May of 1945, he was given a piece of French chocolate after being liberated in Dachau, and the chocolate killed him. So from the first week of May 1945 to the second week of November 1983, something was keeping him from resting.
He could not
completely rest.
Because his brother accused him falsely,
right.
and still had a grudge against him.
Had this minor animosity. I mean, they were children when this happened.
You're talking about a soccer ball, a lost soccer ball.
I mean, they loved each other, but, you never know what stays in a person's mind.
So
it was a stupid thing, but it still counted after 38 years.
So there's something very important over here. Let it go. If somebody died...
I've learned this very important in my life. If someone insults you, let it go. Forgive them. People have all sorts of reasons for doing terrible things, and very often they do it simply because they weren't thinking, or they didn't realize.
I'm sure he did not deliberately...
Right.
First of all, he didn't do it. He was falsely accused.
Imagine he didn't do it to begin with.
But even with being falsely accused, that animosity held him back from
From something.
proper, fulfilled peace on the next world. So you can't hold a grudge against people on the next world.
You
What the
No, in this
Torah
world.
sages have always said, that you've got to let go, you've got to forgive, it's really true.
It's not only is important for that person, it's very important for you too.
And
It's important emotionally and spiritually in all sorts of ways.
at the same time, I know when we go to funerals, we go over to the Aron, the casket, and we ask the mace for forgiveness, even though I don't have a story over here about how that works, but I'm sure that's very important too. We should ask for
Listen,
forgiveness and
I'm
receive
going to
it.
tell you, people, whoever's listening, I'm going to tell you something. Don't wait until it's too late. You want to do something, positive in your life, go over to a person who insulted you, and you're very proud. You know, when someone insults you, you feel pride also. The person has pride. Why should I go to them? Let them come to me. No. Do this. Listen to what I'm telling you. Go to them. Say, despite what you did, I forgive you, and I hope we can continue. We can be friends again. It's a very difficult thing to do. And then at the same time, find someone that you've hurt. Sometimes without thinking, sometimes on purpose. And ask their forgiveness. Try it a few times. It'll be good for you, it'll be good for them. And again, very often people do things without thinking. They do things and they say things and they just don't think of what they're doing, or they don't think it's important. It's important to you, but it's not important to them. All sorts of things happen for all sorts of reasons. Forgive, forget, go on, make them your friend again. Sometimes it's not possible. Make the effort. You create.
No, first of all, I want to thank you very much. I have to say that Steve is a very good friend of mine, and I asked him to do this. I'm sitting in front of him, and I appreciate that he did do it, because most people have these stories happen to them, and they will not say it publicly, but he's doing it l'shem Kiddush Hashem, to inspire people to be better people, and to make people understand that there could be 1,000 scientists saying that you're a vegetable. It doesn't mean you're a vegetable. Had his mother made the decision and just listened to what the doctor said, they would have pulled the plug. And everything from 1983 till today that Steve has done, and I will tell you that he has helped thousands of people who are hungry. He's collected so much food for different people. He's helped people personally. All this would not happen had the doctors been listened to, and they would have pulled the plug. Okay?
And one last thing, I wouldn't be speaking to you, and I couldn't have helped a lot of people, just by speaking with them, and with a lot of people, because although with an electronic voice box you can speak, but people don't really pay attention to you because it's kind of grating. I couldn't speak to them like I'm speaking to you now if I listened to the doctors. My mother didn't listen to the doctors. She's on a different level, and she listened to the rabbi, and not just any rabbi, but a big rabbi. Not everyone who's a rabbi deserves that title. This guy is he's a real thing. He's a real
Square Rebbe for people.
He's a tzaddik. He's a saint. He's everything you want. And when he says something, take it real seriously. Take it real to heart.
And you should, obviously you could see Steve is not a square chassid that would wear a strommel or a bekensher. No, and he did not donate huge amounts of money to Square Rebbe.
Right.
Square Rebbe helped him just for the sake of helping a fellow Jew,
Right.
which is, of course, the absolute definition of a tzaddik. You don't discriminate, you don't look, you help everyone who comes.
Right. And he did it, and I do it today. And I've been doing it from then to now. I've been doing it on a pretty much continuous level.
Thank you very much, Steve Katz. I appreciate that you're giving this information to everybody, and may it be in the schus of your father.
Yachmiel ben Aaron Shepsel.
Yachmiel ben Aaron Shepsel should have the schus of this Kiddush Hashem that we've recorded on tape, on video, and we hope that he will have great schus and great merits. We know he will have great merits every time people are viewing this. Thank you.